Hello guys and welcome back to Dadboard Digidestined. Today we're going to go over a very underestimated guy, one that doesn't get as much love as I think he should, especially when he has so much support in his colour as well. I'm talking about Rust Tyrannomon, simply because obviously when you think of green you don't think Rust Tyrannomon, you think about Hercules Kabuterimon and his amazing abilities, you think of Titanmon and his amazing boss play, and obviously you think of Puppetmon, just one of the best green cards there is in the game at the moment. So I do think this guy is... Sorry, my cat is trying to get involved in the video shooting today. Oi, no, no, no. Anyway, so without further ado, if you like the content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, not for the cat meows, intimidating tactics, but obviously for the deck profile itself. Anyway, guys, yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, and also click that bell so you know when my videos go live. And you'll have more Digimon and cat impersonation content coming up for you. So let's get cracking with this list, and it's going to start as always with the eggs. So with this one, we run one Tanamon. Tanamon still know what it does by now. If you've Digivolved this turn, it gets 1000 DP plus. So that obviously means we're running 4 of the Fremon. Very underrated card, not for most green builds, but for this one particularly, because I find myself suspending my opponent's Digimon for them so often that it just works and comes off more than you might think in most green builds. I know Flower Cannon is obviously a prelude to that, but yeah, Fremon comes off more in this build than a normal green build. So that extra 2000 DP is very welcome. So that is all 5 of our eggs. They're going to go right there. Cool. Moving on to the rookies. I always like to play 14 if I can facilitate it, and today is no exception. We're going to go with 3 Agumon, 1000. Added DP to any card that goes on top of this. So if you can get Rust Tyrannomon with even more power, I mean, what's not to love, really? Obviously, 0 cost to Digivolve, 3 cost to drop. On top of that, we run 3 Goblinmon. So we've got 2 cost to drop. Vanilla, standard. Every deck should run vanillas. Then we've got another 3 cost to drop Tentamon with an inheritable effect to spend my opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. This is quite a cool manipulation. I know it doesn't come off that often unless you're playing someone who's trying to end game by going wide on their board and you're just trying to take control over it, just suspend it, then go into it with something else. So yeah, quite a cool little card. These are some wacky figures, by the way. Normally I'd be running 4 of the Goblinmon, 4 of Tentamon, all that kind of stuff. So we are going to round off with 2 more different level 3s, with 2 kakumon and then 2 Palmon. Obviously in most decks they'd run 4 of one or anything like that. I find value in both these guys and both their effects, so unfortunately I'm going to run both of them, so which means 2 of each. Kakumon's downside is he's a 4 cost to drop, 1 cost to Digivolve, so you don't really want to be paying for rookies, but his effect is pretty awesome if you can get it underneath, say, anything really, literally anything. But again, the boss monster of the deck, as said, is Rust Tyrannomon, so he's the one we want to get him underneath. While this Digimon is 6 or higher, it gets security attack +1. So on top of that, let's imagine you get under a Puppetmon. Actually, no, sorry, what am I talking about, Puppetmon? Yeah, let's imagine you get under a Rust Tyrannomon. So not only will it have piercing thanks to our green tiger, it will also be able to attack an unsuspended Digimon with that piercing, and it will be able to have a security attack, and it will be, well, when this I'll read Rust Tyrannomon out when we get to it anyway. So yeah, I'm very excited about this deck. I don't know if you can tell I'm tripping over myself. There's so much I want to tell you about this deck. So yeah, Kakumon, it's good, it's fun, and not a lot of people expect it because it's very underplayed. Okay. Moving on to Palmon. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 level 4 Digimon card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. This is good for searching any level 4 in a deck. I'll get through to them in a minute, but we are running 12 of them, so we are going to see them. This comes off more often than not. It's actually quite surprising how often it comes off, but obviously the maths are in your favour if you've got 12 or more. Awesome, and that is our 14 count of rookies to start the deck. So moving on to the champions, where are you? Just over here. So it's a Rust Tyrannomon build, so we're going to have to use 4 Tyrannomons. 4 cost drop, 2 cost evo, pretty standard level 4, 4000 DP. When Digivolving, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Then add 1 level 5 card and 1 green tamer card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. This is good for 2 reasons. 1, its effect isn't so specific that if you have a level 5 and then no tamer, you can just add the metal Tyrannomon to your hand, or vice versa. If you find yourself drawing into a Mimi or a Tiger, but you don't see level 5, that's fine. You can just have the Tamer to your hand and move on, which is awesome. So we're often going to be playing this guy. We're going to be often digivolving him for the 2 cost. And then we're going to have the 4 standard blockers in Woodmon, the green blocker that they have released so far. So obviously we'll be playing 4 of it. Every deck should have blockers. Then we're going to run 2 of the Togglemon. This guy, again, we're going to be digivolving into him, her, in the series she was a girl, I think, wasn't she? Yeah, because it's a Palmon. Anyway, when digivolving, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 level 5 or higher Digimon card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Just to clarify, guys, we are running 15 level 5 or higher cards in this deck out of 50, so you have got a decent chance of that coming off. I run 2 of it. I don't want to run more of it because I don't want to see it too often in comparison to the level 4s I have. But when I do it, it does more than often come up. Okay, and that is it for the level 4s, apart from Kabuterimon. 1 cost Digivolve, which is absolutely ridiculously cheap. And also the thing that takes it over Gorillamon for me personally is its effect. Gorillamon, I agree, is a 6 cost, 1 cost Evo champion, but Kabuterimon has an inheritable effect, which makes it so much more versatile than Gorillamon, in the sense that this Digimon gets 1000 DP for every suspended Digimon your opponent has. This also works if, say, okay, let's say you get under level 5, and that level 5 then goes to attack, and they choose to block it. The fact that they go to block means that your Digimon will gain 1000 DP and hopefully run it over, so you get a little bit of an advantage. That is that for the champions, running 12. Okie dokie. We are running 3 Metal Tyrannomon. Obviously, I'd be running 4 if I had a 4th copy, but these are the kind of figures you get when you're just building a deck out of whatever you've got. So, your turn is inheritable effect is when this Digimon deletes an opponent's monster that's level 6 or higher, unsuspend this Digimon. So if you get this underneath a Rust Tyrannomon and it just happens to run over something that was suspended that's level 6, because it's 11,000 itself, Rust Tyrannomon, it can go over things like Volcanic Dramon. Yes, so it becomes unsuspended and it gets a secondary attack, which is awesome. Also, Rust Tyrannomon at this point, if you've got Tiger in play, it'll have piercing on that Volcanic Dramon. So when it does run it over and kill it, you'll get a security check. And then you can restand it, and then you can go for a security check again, which is fantastic. Anyway, we're going to follow that with 3 copies of a Kakumon, 6000 DP, 7 cost drop, 2 cost Digivolve. Inheritable, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, gain 1 memory. Get that underneath the Puppetmon, and every time you attack and destroy something, you gain 2 memory. And that will increase your turn by a large amount, if by now you've realised how little and scarce memory is. Anyway, the last 2 level 5s are each one of. It's going to be a Lilymon and 1 more blocker of the deck, Cherrymon. Lilymon's effect, pretty standard in the stats, exactly the same as a Kakumon, apart from its effect is when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon without blocker. So that's pretty awesome as well. So as long as it's not a blocker, if you want to attack into their stack, you can suspend something that you can then run over with another big guy. Awesome. Ultimate's complete. Moving on to the Megas, we run 2 Rust Tyrannomon. Again, I would love to run more, but unfortunately this is what you have to deal with when you are literally just opening packs just randomly that you're barely getting hold of. So 11,000 DP, 13 to drop, 14 to Digivolve. We're never really going to drop this guy. We want a huge stack underneath this guy. We want a 5, a 4, a 3, and a 2 if possible. Your turn. When you have Green Tamer in play, we run a fair amount of them, so that likelihood of this being in play when we have one is high. This can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. That is phenomenal. So you can use this guy to get over any blocker your opponent might have. If, say, you have a card, they have a card you want to get rid of, but they've got a blocker in play, and that card happens to go suspended, and you're like, oh sweet, my chance to attack. This guy is absolutely phenomenal because he can basically, if you've got a green tamer in play, you basically can choose your target. It doesn't have to be suspended, it doesn't have to be the stack. You can choose to run over their blocker just to stop them from actually using it when they want to, which I find that very, very useful in the sense that you're taking control of their side of the field, which is awesome. Secondary effect, when this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So let's say you've got this and a Puppetmon in play. That Puppetmon is restricted in what he can attack. He can only attack suspended Digimon. This, however, can attack anything as long as there's Green Tamer in play. So let's say he does have a blocker. Let's say you run over that blocker, and you can now suspend, say, the problem card you want to get rid of in the first place. You can now suspend that, and it then becomes a target for your Puppetmon. Awesome. So he does help in so many ways. I would run more if I had him. This guy needs so much more love. Anyway, guys. Oh, let's get those both in shot. There we go. Space. My kingdom for some space. Anyway. So next up, we are looking at 2 Titanmon. Brilliant boss card in most green decks. He's not the boss card of this deck, obviously Rusty is, but we still run 2 of him. Absolutely fantastic card. 12,000 DP, only 10 cost to drop. He's not even a brick, if I'm honest. He is, but he's not, because he's only 10. So you can play him on the first turn if he's all you got. And then on the opponent's first turn, if they can get rid of him, it's going to cost them a lot to do that. Which is phenomenal. Plus, also, he's very cheap to cost to Digivolve into. If you can get a nice big stack underneath him, he'll have some fancy tricks to do as well. We round off the monsters in this deck with Puppetmon, 3 of the best green card in the game. If I had 4, I'd run it. On play, suspend your opponent's Digimon during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. None of your opposing Digimon can unsuspend. This cripples decks, this wins games, this saves games, this steals games. This is a one-man band. I would run 4. I recommend any deck run 1. Any colour, yellow, red, blue, green, black, purple. Run a Puppetmon. And then when you attack, gain a memory. He's cool for also, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, if you can get a kakumon underneath him, and then if you attack and destroy something, you gain 2 memory, which is handy as Harry. There's also a champion coming out in the next set that aids that even more. So the fact is, for you when you attack and destroy something, you'll have another memory. So if you can run this over with a kakumon and that champion underneath it, I believe it's Stingmon. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Stingmon. Yeah, you'll get 3 memory every time you destroy something, which is just cray-cray. Anyway, guys, moving on, we have the tamers of the deck. I run 4 Tiger because I don't want to not see this card. I have to get this guy in play, whether that's from security, whether it's from drawing it and just hard playing it. It's not the most expensive at 3, but it's not the cheapest, obviously. I love seeing him in security, and if I can get his effect for free, I will. But this guy's effect does stack. If it didn't stack, I'd run it down to 3. But the fact is it does, and let's say, for example, you do get 2 of them in play. Your Rust Tyrannomon now only costs 2 to Digivolve. Your Metal Tyrannomon is now free Digivolution. Your original Tyrannomon is a free Digivolution. Let me read its effect for you. All turn, all of your Digimon with Tyrannomon in their name gain piercing. And when you Digivolve into a Digimon that includes Tyrannomon in its name, you may suspend this tamer to decrease the memory cost by 1. Which is fantastic. But yeah, so 2 reasons we're running this, obviously for its effect to make it a lot cheaper to bring out our Tyrannomons, and also to give them piercing. So as deadly as our cards are already, this now gives it piercing. So whenever we do suspend something, which is very likely to happen, and then we run it over, it has piercing and it gets a security attack, which is just bonkers. So yes, we like Tiger. We like Tiger a lot. A lot. And that is that for them. We run 2 Mimis. Mimi is Mimi, probably one of the best tamers in the game at the moment. I know she's 4 costs to drop, but if you see her in stack, that's fantastic. You get this amazing effect for free. Obviously, it's a memory reset at 3 every turn, but the reason we play this, if you have a level 5 higher Digimon in play, you can suspend this tamer to hatch 1 Digiegg card to an empty space in your breeding area, or move 1 level 3 or higher Digimon from your breeding area to your battle area. So it's haste, it speeds up your deck. You are now going faster than your opponent is, twice as fast. Why would you not play if you're running green? It's just bonkers. Absolute Brits Creek. And I think in another TCG, I think they would call that haste. And the last card of the deck, the piece de resistance, is Flower Cannon. 2 costs to play. Everyone knows what Flower Cannon does now. Any build in the game that runs green cards and facilitates Flower Cannon, it runs Flower Cannon. Main, suspend your opponent's Digimon. Security, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon without blocker. This guy saves games as well. Also, suspending your opponent's board is good for being able to run them over as and when you feel like with your big guys. And only 2 costs as well, so very cheap for such a game-changing effect. And that is the build, guys. Obviously, again, it's not perfected. I'd like to run more of some, less of others. But obviously, we play with what we have. I still stand by my belief that This guy needs as much love as possible in this format because he has 2 amazing effects. I know that other green decks are competitive as well, but just remember that Rust Tyrannomon is always a threat. Anyway, guys, hope you liked the video. If you do, please don't forget to like it. Comment if you have any advice or if you have any good ideas involving Rust Tyrannomon. And also, don't forget to smash that bell so you know when my videos go live. Anyway, guys, thanks for your time. Dadbod out.